Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Michael Mack, who is Senior Analyst and Market Insights for Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Thanks, Michael, for joining us today.
Hi, Mario. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, the CMHC just put out a new report, an outlook on the real estate market across Canada just the other day. I wanted to ask you about Calgary specifically, and what are the current economic fundamentals that are kind of supporting and buoying the real estate market in the city these days?
Right. So one of the main things that we're looking at, especially from the really strong market in 2021, is that there were pretty abnormal low mortgage rates, right? And that continues to support the housing demand that we've seen from a lot of home buyers, especially from those that were able to lock in their rates before the recent increases that we've seen.
Yeah.
And that really just helps to push demand forward if they were able to purchase a home.
Okay, super. Yeah, some of the other things, can you talk about the economy and jobs and population growth and how that is impacting the market?
Yeah, so in regards to the economy, Calgary has recovered a fair bit since the beginnings of the pandemic. We do see that unemployment rate has basically dropped to 2019 levels. So the employment sector in almost all ages has recovered. We also see that migration into Alberta has flipped back positive in the recent quarters. So that's definitely a positive boon for demand. But we're also seeing the continued trend that people in Alberta are continuing to move into more urban areas, such as Calgary and Edmonton.
Okay, let's talk about housing starts. The report indicates that starts are expected to remain strong this year. In 2021, we were just over 15,000 total starts. What are we looking at from a total housing starts perspective for 2022?
Right, so we really expect strong and continued starts into 2022, although growth in that sector wouldn't be exactly really supported by a lot of the headwinds that we see right now, including supply chain problems. We've talked to builders, and they have talked about how they can't get some of the materials that they need to build some of these units, and they also can't find some of the labor that they need to complete these units. But we also see that in further into 2023 and 2024, that increasing mortgage rates will also decrease the demand for new homes. But of course, with Calgary really recovering strong in 2023 and 2024, they'll able to sort of counteract that downside for housing starts.
All right, let's talk in terms of the housing starts. Let's talk about the different categories. Single detached, for instance, 55, just over 5,500 in 2021. What do we expect this year?
Right. So really, we expect a sort of baseline and maybe marginally lower starts. As I said before, it's supported by the fact that later in the year, there will be increases in mortgage rates that will sort of push demand lower. Basically because single-detached starts or single-detached homes are more expensive, and increase in mortgage rates so will affect home buyer budgets.
Okay, and what about the multifamily market? Just over what is it here? Reading my notes. Well, just over 9,500 in 2021. What about this year?
Right. So for multis, we do expect that there will be as similar to single attached, sort of a flat line, but also a slightly increase into 2022 and even slightly further into 2023 as developers really see that there will be a return of really economically driven migration into Calgary from a really shift in positive sentiment from the developer side.
All right. And one of the things that I found interesting in the CMHC report was the fact that there was reference to I guess these single detached moving further out in the peripheries of Calgary. Can you talk about that and why that is happening?
Right. So a lot of this is basically because that land that's undeveloped right now, basically in the north and south part of Calgary, that's really a lot cheaper than taking, say, inner city land and building homes on it. And therefore, once you buy up that land, you develop it, you're able to really offer lower priced homes compared to, say, buying land closer to downtown core, closer to the Beltline, or maybe even in areas like Marteloup or North Hill, where prices can be, for single detached homes at least, prices can be a bit expensive.
Okay, one last thing, Michael, can you talk a little bit about the rental situation in Calgary? What's that like these days?
Right. So according to our 2021 rental market report, we have seen vacancy rates decrease since basically the highs in 2020. Although the report does say that vacancy rates decreased slightly, we have to focus on the number of occupancy or the change in occupancy in Calgary. And we have seen a lot of rental demand flowing back into the city, accompanied by, of course, an increase in the rental universe. Right. So there is a sort of matching in supply and demand that's going to Calgary right now. But of course, with that said, in 2022 and further, we do expect that vacancy rates will continue to decrease as basically, companies allow workers to return back into the office as jobs increase in Calgary, right? With that being said, and with newer units coming online from new constructions, we will also expect that the average rental rate will increase.
All right, super. Thanks very much, Michael, for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, that was Michael Mack, who is the Senior Analyst, Market Insights for Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, taking care of business. Thanks for joining us today.